I got up this morning, sing. I got up this morning, yeah. Oh, God is so good. I'm feeling good down in my soul. Well, in my time of trouble, I know God. In my time of trouble, in my time of triumph, I know that God. In my time of triumph, I know God is so. And every way, I know that God is so. And every way, God is so good, good to me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My God is so good to me. Your God is so good to you. This infinite presence, and it is a part of this sacred journey that we walk. So good to me. This infinite presence loves me just of this fabulous movement of spirit. You know, Thomas Merton said, "The spark, which is my true self, is the flash of the absolute within you." Open our hearts. We open our minds. We open to, and we know that we have come with a mighty work to do in every being, and supporting that movement of spirit that lifts each of us, that knows food, water, clothing, all that they, and know that our love is a part of that movement. We are so blessed, and so it is. Next Sunday, the clocks move forward. So it is on Sunday, March 28th, which is also Palm Sunday. We're moving into that Easter season. The board candidates and Facebook Live, if you're in the sanctuary, that's great too. It's 11 o'clock, so it'll be after church. And we will be also share with you that Easter is coming. We will still be doing that. It will be online based on a Native American idea of this sacred circle, and to physically walk these ideas stream. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook, so 7 p.m. the 2nd. Hopping in to say hello, that's at 2 p.m. Again, call and register your kids. We'll look forward to seeing you outside. Everyone needs masks. Younger population, our younger kids. And Easter Sunday, again, just asking for reservations. It'll be 10 o'clock. And we are holding that. Pray with us during this service. They pray before. You could attend the 9:30 a.m. That all that we need is present, available, and word that you are on your spiritual journey. You are welcome here. And fill out the little, I'm choosing heaven today. And remember, heaven is a state of consciousness.
All right. So for those of you in the sanctuary, I invite you to bodies that we are in. Let's choose heaven. I'm choosing heaven. I'm choosing heaven today. Of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. Life. I'm choosing life. And I'm choosing joy today. How about peace? Yes. I'm walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing peace today. Love. I'm choosing love of heaven right now. And I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. And I'm choosing heaven today. Amen. Bless you.
Yes, I'm choosing heaven today. What an opportunity. Every one of us gets to realize as we choose heaven, which I know I grew up hearing that heaven is a state of consciousness at one with God, at one with the infinite, at one with this understanding that we are always loved and supported. And so as we choose heaven, part of that journey is going within and choosing it again and again in our hearts. So as we go into this time of meditation, I would just invite you to open your heart and your mind to that movement of spirit that happens in and through and as you now.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see that there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, that's when I go inside. Yes, I quiet my mind, and I hear spirits say that there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
There is only love. As we relax our bodies and quiet our minds, we allow this awareness. There is only love to move through us. Where I have held on to fears or worries, I loose them and let them go, knowing that the truth of all is love. The answers in my life are love. I breathe in the love for myself, for this world, for all of the pieces, those I understand and those I do not. There is only love. This one presence and one power is love. And in the silence, I breathe that in. I allow it to expand in me. There is only love in the silence. With whatever happens in my world this day, that mantra, that knowing that there is only love, it lives as me in every word, in every thought, in every action. I am love. I am loved, and I am loving. And we say, yes, thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this greater expansion within me of love. And we are so blessed. And so it is. Amen.
I'm tired of the guilt that brings me pain. Now is the time to let go of the shame. The past behind me, I see anew. I'm ready for my change, yes. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change, yes. I'm ready for my change. I forgive them. I forgive them. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. Yes, I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go and I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. Yes, I'm ready for my change. Yes, I'm ready for my change.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. That song moves me so much. I have to get the tears out of my eyes. I hope all of us have taken that in, because that music reminds us, I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive them. I forgive us. We are all on this journey of spirit. And the journey we're on, if you look at your life, is one of forgiveness. It's an invitation to be a part of this movement that happens within us. And you know, most of us could list, well, these things should not have happened in my life. These things should not have happened in my world. These things should not ever happen anywhere. We know what they are. And we every one of us somewhere along this journey, and I love what Carolyn Mace has said, that somewhere we made a sacred contract for the life journey we're on, the part that we play this time. And all of it is a part of a healing of humanity, of a rising of consciousness, of allowing ourselves to find something deeper. I don't have all the answers, but I know that those answers include the journey of love. And forgiveness is one of those pieces that is an anchor. And we're going to look today, we're in our 6th week of an 8-week series using the book God of Love. And Mirabai Starr looks at the traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam and says, where are some of these ideas so similar? What were these 3 Abrahamic traditions, those that came from the same part of the world and some of the same ideas, what do they have to teach us? And what I am finding, and whether you've read it with us or you read it later, I would encourage you to do so. It is an easy read, but it has allowed me to see a larger picture of the journey we're on. And so when we look at these three traditions, what I know is that all of us are a part of a tradition, and these are the three main traditions that highlight the idea, and she used it this way: mercy, forgiveness, and reconciliation. But for a lot of us, that's not an easy thing to do. You know, Thomas Merton says, you do not need to know precisely what is happening or exactly where it is all going. Anybody want to know those things right now? You don't need to know what is happening or where it's going. What you need is to recognize the possibilities and the challenges offered by the present moment and to embrace them with courage, faith, and hope. I don't always know why we experience what we do in our lives. And I have great respect and honor for every being and the journey that they go through, because we don't understand what these pieces are. Many in this country during this time of the pandemic have experienced so many tough places. There are people in this country and around the world that have experienced discrimination and racism and abuse for centuries, for lifetimes. There are huge pieces that we're working with. Our job right now, and I would invite you into it, is to begin saying, I'm a part of this movement. I don't know why we're here right now, but I can guarantee you, James O'Day says that stress is an evolutionary driver. Has anybody had a little extra stress put on their lives in the last, we could even just say last year, or the last 5 years? Stress is saying it's a movement of spirit, and it's an interesting way that we are moved forward. I personally continually say, I am open and receptive to learning gently through love. I am open and receptive to learning gently through love. Begin welcoming a deeper understanding, because it is the universe asking us, where are we going? What are we doing? I want to give you a few definitions that I've been working with, because I went and looked them up. I thought, I want to know, mercy is compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm. Now, there's an endless number of places of power, and many times we have taken it out on ourselves. We've taken it out on someone else. We can show mercy and this idea of being kind in the face of what is not loving, what doesn't feel good, what's hurt us. And I believe that's where we're moving and where we're going. Forgiveness. And this is an important piece. It is a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or a group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve it or not. And I put down, forgiveness does not mean forgetting, condoning, or excusing offenses. It's not about that. It is a conscious choice, regardless of whether or not anybody's worthy of anything. It is you in your life journey. It is us in our life journey beginning to say, I am ready for a change, just as that song talked about. It was written by Charles Holt. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to allow an awakening to happen in my heart, and change comes when we move what's been blocking us and holding us. And I know that these pieces teach us something more. All three of these traditions teach mercy, forgiveness, and reconciliation, which is the restoration of friendly relations, the action of making one view or belief compatible with another. It's getting along. This is a lifelong idea that I wonder if we realize every step I take is an opportunity for forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the greatest acts of love we can ever do, and it's saying, beginning with, I forgive me for whatever things I've done. I came as a being to learn. I'm here. I'm willing to, it doesn't mean I don't make amends. It doesn't mean I don't take responsibility. It means right here, right now, I forgive. And then it goes into who we are in our families. I don't know why all of us made the sole choice to come together and to take this journey, but I trust. And I believe for me, the biggest piece in forgiveness, and this has been one of the pieces that I have spent much of my life working with. Most of you know that every year other than this year, in the spring, I begin our radical forgiveness class. And I do so because it's a practice and it's a process of recognizing that everything that happens in our lives is the universe saying, here, let me move you forward, let me bless you, and that we are a part of the change that is being asked in whatever it is. We're a part of that change. And to recognize that and begin saying, whoa, I don't know why I'm in this place, in this body, in this time, but I know I'm a part of it. You know, Mirabai Starr says, you can't forgive without grace. And grace is not something you can demand. She said, the sages have taught you to love your enemies and forgive those who persecute you. But what they forget to tell you is that you are powerless to achieve this one simply on your own. You can cultivate a loving heart through prayer and fearless self-inquiry, small acts of kindness, and more radical acts of social justice. You can turn towards your pain and say yes to your life, but you need... And she put it this way, and I think it's very interesting. You need the God of love to meet you halfway. What I know, and I know for every one of us, is that when we set the intention to allow whatever has happened in our lives, whatever is happening to us, through us, any of it, and we say, I am willing to forgive, and we begin using the practices, I forgive. I recognize that whatever happened here will bless me. It will support me. I don't know why it happened. When we begin that process, and we do it day after day after day, this, what she calls the God of love, which I don't believe is a being out there, but it is a consciousness, it is an idea, it will meet us halfway, because you will find, through all the wrestling with this presence, it will lift you. It will heal you. You will find those answers. But it requires us showing up. And I don't care if this is something that happened 50 years ago, or it is something that is happening right now, just the little pieces that kind of shut you down and shut you down. We didn't come to live lives that were shut down. Rick Hansen says that our brain actually gets into this rut of shutting itself down because sometime in our lives we stopped the flow of love. We determined the flow of love in our lives. We determine somewhere along the line, most of us were taught that we're not worthy of that flow of love. And so we look around us and we say, I'll love you, I won't love you, I won't love you, I won't love you. What you've just done is taught your brain to shut down. And so the universal energy, and it is love, this quantum field, we start teaching our brains how to shut it down. And so part of this is going into a willingness to find something larger than we may understand. And some of those places, they can be individual ones, or they can be countrywide ones. I was looking at, and I continue to look at the stories that come out of Rwanda. I know all of you have heard on some level that in 1994 with the genocide that happened, and it was horrendous, and I have read books about it and prayed about it, and you know, I often talk about Immaculée Iligabaza's story of, you know, being in that bathroom and not knowing if she would live or die for all of those days, and finally the only peace she found was in God and in love. And she came out in that way, but many people did not. And so I keep looking at these stories. What fascinates me, and there is an organization, it's in French, and I'm not going to say it probably real well, but Association Modeste et Innocente. It was formed in 2000, so 6 years after that. And they continue to do the work today. And I was just looking at, there's an article in New York Times from 2014 where a photographer went over and he said, I want to see some of the work that this nonprofit has done where they teach what is mercy, what is forgiveness, what is reconciliation, what does it look like, how do we achieve it? And they've taken people who, the survivors who survived it, and also those who have gotten out of prison serving their time, and some of them couldn't serve all the life sentences or there wouldn't have been anybody in Rwanda. I mean, it was such a huge nationwide thing. But they aligned them with the people they hurt. And they work with them. And this photographer came in and just took the pictures of the people standing together. And they talk about it. And the wisdom that is there is life-changing. It is soul-changing. And one of the women, she said, he killed my father and the father of my children and my children. And when he came back and he asked for forgiveness and to make that reconciliation, she said, she already lives, and this was it was the story that he did on her specifically. She said, I already live in such pain that I decided the government and all of the systems that were in place created much of this. Now, she didn't say those words, I am. And she said, I'm already unhappy. When I learned to forgive, and they worked with her to understand what it was, now I have peace. And he does all the work that he can to be her son. It's not one, it's story after story after story, where when we really find a way, they're building and rebuilding a country. It doesn't always happen that way, but many of them do. My question to you is, where in your life are the places that the universe has said, you're here? It could be forgiving your body. It could be forgiving a family. It could be forgiving that you didn't do all the things you wanted to do, or any of the pieces. And for many of us, those are privileges. Those are forgiveness of privilege. I mean, we haven't experienced no food and not enough of this or that. But when we understand that our journey is to forgive, the consciousness that we hold is to create a place in our minds where we can say, there's something more, and I will walk this journey, never forgetting that who I am is a part of that. All three of these faiths set aside special time for forgiveness, for going inside, for deciding and contemplating who we are and what we do. In Judaism, it's the high holidays, the holy days, and I was so grateful when Pnei Or for so many years had their holy days in here, because between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and the 10 days in between, they would leave the pieces, their sacred pieces here, and the services that they had and the music that they had and all of them. This, it all led up to Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. This idea of asking forgiveness. It's a cleansing part of our lives. If we aren't participating in something like that, we can forget to do it. Have we been doing it on a regular basis? During the pandemic. Are we just continually saying, allow me to see a bigger picture? I forgive. I don't understand, but I am willing to be here and be a part. In Christianity, it's the idea of Lent. The 40 days leading up to Easter. It's the idea of, just kind of symbolizing Jesus is going into the wilderness, is what it symbolizes. Many of us didn't grow up with an idea that Lent was actually a sacred cycle. Before the spring, before all this rising up, before the crucifixion and the resurrection, it's a preparation, a cleansing, a time of looking at it. Somehow it got translated into some really human things. But these are pieces that are so sacred. In Islam, it's Ramadan, and that sacred time of prayer and fasting. And that begins April 12th. It might be April 12th this year. And so it's a process. All of these sacred ideas are an invitation to us. Will we spend our time beginning to say, I forgive. I allow it to move through me. I am a part of it. And Mirabai calls it kind of fire on the altar. It's like this idea of, will we allow ourselves to look at what's on fire in our lives and trust that there is an outworking that is larger than we can see, and be a part of it. Simply be a part of it. It does not mean we ever let go of the accountability, but it means that we continue the journey because it's sacred. And I believe it happens when we allow it to happen in our individual lives, and we begin saying, who am I to, first of all, block the ways that I love? Is that really what I came to do? And the second thing is knowing not who am I, but I am a part of this greater understanding. I began radical forgiveness during a time that was a really tough one in my life, in that my spouse, my husband of, at that point, 23 years, was experiencing severe depression. And I began it to be able to move through that time. And it was about 2 or 3 years where I decided if I could forgive myself and I could forgive whatever was going on around me, then I could stay open enough to be a channel of love. Now, many of you know that later on he chose death by suicide. I can't tell you what those 3 years of practice did for me, because it didn't decide where I gave my love. It allowed me to stay open to a human journey that I didn't understand. And I don't know that I understand it today, but I know that it's sacred. I honor the choices. I honor that somewhere in my journey I said yes, but I know this. It is sacred, it is holy, and it involves me. And I either say, yes, I show up, and yes, I am willing to. I can't just in my mind say, I'm willing to do this. It's a heart movement. And I don't know when it happened, but I know that there came a point where I became that love and could just be there loving during a journey that was tough for everybody. I would invite you to look at your life, to say, where has it asked me to pull forth something more? Where are there places? And it could be little places. But I never got this far. My father never did this. This never happened. This never happened. I just don't like my body size. I don't like this. I don't like that. Whatever it is, I forgive me. I don't know what I'm learning. I forgive you. I don't know your specific journey, but I know this. We have all come to rise up. We have come to heal. We have come to love in a way that we may or may not understand. One of the people, and I want to just talk, Dr. Justina Ford, a black woman who became a medical doctor. She graduated in 1902. She moved to Denver, and they would not acknowledge her. They wouldn't even take her money at one point. The guy said, I feel like you're a woman and you're black. I don't want to basically steal that money from you. I'm not going to take your money for that application. And she made him take it. And she applied every year. She delivered, they said, 7,000 babies at home in Denver, Colorado. They called her the Black Mother Teresa of Denver. They didn't say yes until 1950. It might be 52. And she never once went a year without applying for that medical. She had the medical license, but it was simply it was being allowed into the Colorado Medical Association and the American Medical Association. She never stopped standing for that. Now they do huge events and things in her honor. She never stopped. She said, this will not stop me. And she never stopped doing what she was doing. But what I love is the way that she lived her life. She could have said, I'm not going to love you. I'm not going to love you. I can't do this. I can't do that. She had the courage to say, this may be happening, but you aren't going to stop me. There is nothing on this planet that is designed to stop us from loving. And I would just invite you to allow your heart to say yes to the love that you are, to know that these traditions, they provide actual messages, and all of them say, return to the God within you. Return to this presence and power and allow it to be enough to take you through whatever it is that is in front of you. You have a sacred journey. You have come to live it, to love it, to be a part of it, and for it to not only transform you at depth, but I believe the legacy that we leave is one where we have the courage to say, I am love. Whatever else anyone tries to teach me, I am love. And I just say yes. The truth of every one of us is that we are love. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And as we keep learning these ideas, I just, in Judaism, the word, by the way, that is translated as repent, it's actually, the better translation is return. And it's called, and they really focus on return to God, return to the infinite, return to that which is. And so if you haven't yet, as we receive our tithes and our love offering, return to the core of who you are, the vibrant love that maybe we've shut off a little bit because we're not going out there and we're not doing these things and all of that. Or you haven't thought there's enough. I would just invite you to return to this infinite presence and power and return to the possibilities and the life and the love and the presence and all of it and recognize that it sources us now. We have many different ways that you can share your love offering. The first one would be just going on our website at unityofportland.org and click on the donate button. You can text 77977 and the word Unity of Portland, all lowercase, and they will invite you to donate there online. You can either do it one time or you can do it with a recurring gift, and you can also send in checks. And we are so grateful for this community and all of the support that has been given us through this past year. We are blessed, and we are infinitely grateful for the ability to take the journey together. So we just say thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is.
Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. And I'm grateful for all that I have. Yes, I'm grateful for all that I give. Divine love, through the spirit of my giving, it blesses and multiplies all that I give. It blesses and multiplies all that I give.
Oh, thank you. Divine love acting through us. It blesses and it multiplies all that we have, all that we are, all that we give, and we are so blessed. We are going to just take this time to say yes to that movement of Spirit in us. In just a minute, we're going to sing together our peace song. I just would invite you, as we do that, to open your mind, to allow these arms of love to encircle everyone in your world, in your life, in our world, as we know that humanity continues to learn and to grow and to be blessed through so many different ways. We're going to sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me. If you're at home, stand up, stand for this. Allow this knowing to be a part of who you are.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other, family are we, in perfect harmony. Let peace begin begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Oh, yes. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Thank you, LaRonda and Mark. Thank you for being here and your consciousness that adds to this whole movement of spirit that all of us come together to be a part of. And as we do our closing prayer, we get to hold this and know this for ourselves, that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is swell. And we are so blessed, and so it is. Amen. Have a love-filled week.